Hello everyone, Tom with Cape of Fetish. Today on the channel we're going to talk about one of my favorite things in music, and that is harmonies. I'm a huge harmony freak, dating back to the Beatles, the Beach Boys, Byrds, on and on throughout the decades. Today we're going to talk about, though, artists with distinct two-part harmonies. I have 10 artists here to feature. They're all completely different from different eras, but for me have very distinct harmonies and are all awesome. So I'm going to start off here with a band from the 90s, part of the grunge era. They stood out, in my opinion, because they were one of the few bands from that era that actually had harmonies. None of the rest really did. And I'm talking about Alice in Chains. This is the album Dirt from 1992. First time I heard the song Rooster on the radio back in 1992, it really struck me. Not only just the soft and loud aspect of the song and all the highs and lows and everything going on in the song, but it was the harmonies that stood out to me. Right before the chorus, when they go, here comes the rooster, the way that Lane Staley and Jerry Cantrell, the guitarist, blend together is really amazing, especially for this kind of music. I thought it was really unique that they did this. I mean, this music is very dark, it has very kind of a Sabbath kind of feel to it, but those harmonies really give them a unique vibe. So yeah, Rooster, incredible. I think throughout their career, the way their voices blended was really unique. I think it made them stood apart from that whole grunge era. And other songs on here like Them Bones and Wood, which was another song played quite a bit on the radio, are all testament to that. Angry Chair, pretty much the whole album. They're harmonizing a lot throughout, and it's really dark material, but it's really awesome. Another album, too, of theirs, which I love, is the Unplugged album. And this was recorded during a period where Lane Staley was not in the best health condition, but he pulled through, and it's one of the best MTV Unplugged performances, next to probably the Nirvana one. But right here, it's all stripped down, and you really get to hear that magical blend of Jerry Cantrell and Lane Staley. Love the acoustic version of No Excuses. That chorus, the way it sounds, the way they blend together is just awesome. Other songs like, Angry Chair, of course, and Brother. Yeah, just a very magical performance. If you've never seen it, check it out. It's all over the internet, but it's great to listen to as well. So yeah, for me, Jerry Cantrell and Lane Staley from Alice in Chains had a really unique thing going on here in this band with their harmonies. Of course, when we're talking about harmonies, we can't leave out Simon and Garfunkel. They are an amazing duo with the harmonies. I mean, that first single, Sounds of Silence, is just, it's timeless. It really hits you to the core. There's so many great tracks even on this album here. I Am a Rock, and on and on and on. You've got the album Parsley, Sage, Rosemary, and Thyme, Scarborough Affair. What gorgeous harmonies those are. And of course, the 59th Street Bridge song, Feeling Groovy. The next album following that was Bookends. Just amazing harmonies all over the place. One of my favorites being the song America. And then you've got At the Zoo. You got Punky's Dilemma, Hazy Shade of Winter. Of course, what's the track here? Old Friends. Yeah, just pretty much the epitome of great two-part harmonies here, Simon and Garfunkel. Another one, too, that really drew me into harmonies was I was walking around a record store. I think I was about 15. I was walking around this record store called Moby Disc. They were located in Woodland Hills, California, and this is about 1980. I walked in. I may have told this story in a previous video, but I'll tell it again real briefly. I was walking into the record store. I saw this album on the shelf, but I heard something coming from the speakers that sounded like Jefferson Airplane. The harmonies reminded me of Jefferson Airplane. I'm talking about X. The first time I ever heard X was in a record store. I heard this album. I believe the song was the first song on the album, Your Phone's Off the Hook, But You're Not, was playing, and I was like, God, it sounds like Paul Kantner and Grace Slick. Just blew me away. I was like, I had to get this album immediately. Totally drew me in. And as the album kept playing, and I was like filing through albums, another one that stood out to me was the song The Unheard Music, which is the slow track on the album, which Ray Manzarek plays keyboard, and he produced their first four albums too as well. But that really just really kind of sold me on X. I love, of course, the energy and the drumming of DJ Bonebreak and the guitar playing of Billy Zoom. Just fantastic, tight LA punk band. But I think, again, just like Allison in Chains, the harmonies are what sold me on X. They're all over all those first 4 albums in a really good way. Like Wild Gift, the first track, what is it called here? The Once Over Twice, and track after track, White Girl, Back to the Bass, on and on and on. Just those really unique sounding vocals with that kind of Jefferson Airplane vibe about them. So I just always have loved John Doe and Xene's backup vocals. Their harmonies, 2-part harmonies, are, for me, what make X what they are, very special. Another duo from the 60s I've always loved too is Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell. And this is a compilation album from Motown just called United. It has some of their best work on here. And the track especially I love is a song called Precious Love. Fantastic single. The way they blend together, their voices are just so beautiful. Another one, of course, Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Just another example of great 2-part harmonies that are very distinct. And then, of course, we can't leave out Mick and Keith from the Stones. They have really, I mean, when you think about Mick and Keith, those harmonies, I mean, we've been listening to the Stones for decades. I think a lot of people just kind of overlook that fact, but I just love the way they sing, especially on these early tracks. This is Between the Buttons. The track, Something Happened to Me Yesterday, kind of has kind of a Dylan feel about it. And I love the way their voices blend on this. When they get to later albums, it's more kind of more raw kind of vocal parts, where Keith is kind of just singing one line along with Mick. But great duo singing, like on Wild Horses and Dead Flowers. Some of that great rock and roll duo singing on songs like Sway. But yeah, just fantastic stuff from the Stones throughout the whole Exile on Main Street album. They're just singing in that really classic Mick and Keith style that we've become to love for so many years. Loving Cup, Torn and Frayed, Sweet Virginia, on and on and on. Just just iconic, 2-part harmonies here from Mick and Keith from the Stones. Another blend that I really love is another band from the 90s. They're called the Jayhawks. This is their album called Tomorrow the Green Grass. And there's a couple of this whole album is really good, but there's a few that really stand out to me. And you've got the 2 lead singers here called, they're named Gary Lewis, not Gary Lewis in the Playboys, but Gary Lewis and Mark Olson. The way their vocals blend. I saw them open for Matthew Sweet at the Ventura Theater back in probably the early to mid 90s, and they were just fantastic. It's a great double bill. But what I really love, there's 2 tracks on here that are my favorites. One is called Blue, and another one on here that should have been a huge hit. It's also one of my favorite songs of all time. It's called Nothing Left to Borrow. The way their vocals blend on here are amazing. If you've never heard the Jayhawks, pick this album up, and also pick this one up called Hollywood Town Hall. It's another winner. To me, these are the two really great Jayhawks albums. And they feature really unique harmonies and very earthy, very country rock, just fantastic stuff. Of course, we can't leave out Phil and Don Everly from the Everly Brothers. Just probably like the ultimate harmony duo of all time. Very influential to Simon and Garfunkel. One of my favorite tracks, all-time favorite tracks by the Everly Brothers, written by Carole King, is Crying in the Rain. One of the greatest tracks, one of the greatest written tracks of all time. Just beautiful harmonies. Also throughout this greatest hits package is Bye Bye Love, Wake Up Little Susie, All I Have to Do Is Dream, Bird Dog. Kathy's Clown is an amazing example of their incredible harmonies. It's just, they're so tight and so perfect and so distinct. Another one too is Blur. The way that Damon Albarn and Graham Coxon blend together on this album, and I'll show you another album. This is their album, Modern Life is Rubbish. There's a song on here called Blue Jeans that is a gorgeous ballad that's kind of like right in the middle of the album. The way Graham Coxon has a completely different voice than Damon Albarn, but the way they combine and blend are just amazing throughout this whole album. Songs like Villa Rosie, on that chorus. Just so infectious, you know. And other ones like Colin Zeal and Chemical World, on and on and on. On an album like Park Life, there's a song called Clover Over Dover, where they do these la la la's in the middle that are absolutely stunning. Other tracks like Magic America, great duo harmony singing. End of a Century, and on and on and on. I just love their blend. Graham Coxon and Damon Albarn from Blur. Another one too I have to mention is Ray and Dave Davies of the Kinks. I mean, Dave Davies is such a huge part of their sound, not only guitar-wise, but backup vocal-wise, with his raspy voice. Sometimes you have Ray, you know, Ray's a chameleon of voices. Sometimes Ray sings in a very fey vocal, and the way that matches up with Dave's raspy vocals are just fantastic, and that's what makes a lot of these Kinks songs so amazing. So one of my favorites in this kind of example of Ray and Dave singing is the song Young and Innocent Days from the Arthur album. It's so gorgeous and just really hits you here, you know. Other ones too would be, you know, the title track Arthur. If we move on over to the Lola album, Lola versus Power Man, you have tracks like Get Back in Line. Dave is just singing his heart out with Ray, harmonizing really well. Rockers like Power Man, other tracks like Ape Man, another ballad, A Long Way From Home. These are just little examples. I can't go through the whole catalog, but Dave is just, he's one of those great harmony singers, singing with Ray throughout the Kinks catalog. On an album like Sleepwalker, Jukebox Music, a rocker, he's singing his heart out with Dave and Ray. Sleepless Night, Life on the Road, and on. Ray and Dave, amazing two-part harmonies. And another one too I really dig from the 90s is a band. It's a shoegaze band. They're called Lush. The two principal songwriters and singers, their names are Emma Anderson and Mickey Berenyi. And their sound is very heavily, it's almost kind of, it's shoegaze, but there's a lot of dream pop in there. There's a little bit of Cocteau Twins, but it's more amped up. The guitars are very expansive sounding, a lot of flange, a lot of chorus. But the way these two gals sing together is absolutely amazing. And another reason why I love this band, Lush. They have great songs, but it's the way they harmonize together is incredible. Songs like, this is their album Gala. It's kind of a combination of singles and EPs before their first album came out called Spooky. But there's just so many highlights on here. Thought Forms, Scarlet, another one called, there's another one on the second album called Spooky. That is one of my absolute favorites. If I can see here in this kind of lighting. Let me take a look here. One called For Love is fantastic. But these two early Lush albums to me really highlight how amazing their harmony duos are. Emma Anderson and Mickey Berenyi. If you never heard Lush, check them out. Check out Spooky and check out Gala here from 1990. These really represent just amazing harmonies and just an overall atmosphere that is really unlike anything that came out of the shoegaze movement. There are other great bands like Ride and My Bloody Valentine, but I think Lush really stands out among that particular genre. So those are just examples of some of my favorite two-part harmony acts, artists, etc. Let me know what some of your favorite two-part harmony artists are out there. And as always, thanks for watching. And if you dig the content, please subscribe, and we'll see you soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.